They don't have books anymore. So age me, I don't care. I was in a college dorm maybe a couple of years ago, I forget why, and I remember looking around, I'm like, where are all the books? And they're like, books? We don't have books. This is all online. And I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have books? They're like, no, sometimes they have workbooks or this or that. And I saw what they were doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that's when I aged myself, Joe. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm the old guy here.
Well, I'll tell you what I saw.
In my day, we had books, Joe.
Yeah, I saw an Instagram post the other day, or Instagram or LinkedIn, and it was the old brown paper bag that you would put over the book so that it would protect the book from.
Oh my God!
You know, you would make it like, I don't know. You put it on like it was a book cover, right? So that and it says, if you remember this, then you're old. And I thought, oh man, I remember that.
That's too funny. So, Joe, I want to spend a little bit of time on the podcast. So, tell us a little bit more about. I love supporting other podcasters and podcast shows and introducing and those to my audience. So, tell us a little bit more about the EdUp experience and what listeners can expect, because I want my audience to go check it out.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that question. The EdUp experience is a passion project for me and my co-hosts, two co-hosts. I have Elizabeth Leiba and Elvin Freitas. He does a lot of the producing for us. The EdUp experience is a higher education or education-focused podcast. We have people on the podcast as guests ranging from ed tech, higher education, college presidents, university presidents. We have guests including influencers, media influencers, and the idea is that you're edding up, right? So every episode that you listen to, you're going to walk away with something that you didn't know before. It could be college openings. It could be how colleges are changing the recruiting. It could be ed tech trends that are out there. And so it's been growing rapidly. We're so excited about it. It's starting to it becomes a time dominator with all the work you have to do to produce a podcast, as you know, Adam, I'm sure. But we're excited, and I think we're getting great feedback, and I would encourage everybody to go check us out, and we appreciate it very, very much.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, it's been awesome having you on the show today. If somebody wants to listen to the podcast or learn more about the university, what's the best way for them to do that?
All right, so the Claremont Lincoln University, the web address is www.claremontlincoln.edu. And there you can find all the information about our graduate programs and contact me directly. And the podcast is www.edupexperience.com. You can see all of our episodes and hopefully ed up yourself along the way. So that's how to get a hold of me. And I'm on both of those sites. So if anybody wants to contact me directly, find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. I'd love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Joe, thanks again for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure, Adam. Thank you for having me.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for coming to today's episode of Live with Mighty Hive, which is titled The Future Begins in Q4, How a Q4 Amazon Strategy Sets the Stage for 2021 and Beyond. So we're going to be looking today about how this Q4 is going to be different than any Q4 that's ever happened before, really. And while the opportunities there are pretty obvious, certainly if there's more sales, there's lots more opportunity to capture those. But I think we're going to spend even a little bit more time today discussing why a successful Q4 is going to lead to some long